But I always do this.
So
No, I had 5 questions. I had 5 questions really in my head. And the first one, of course, I think is I would hope it'd be the most simple is why would you run for town council?
So I had some business owners, some people in the community come to me and say, "Hey, what do you think about running for town council?" I said, "I got stuff going on, I don't." And they said, "No," said Frank wanted to come off, right? Because he'd been on there for 26 years. He wanted to retire, and I understand. And so, how are you going to turn down your, people that want you to serve? How you going to turn them down? So I said, "Sure, I'd be glad to." I mean, reluctantly, like I don't have other stuff to do, but basically that's it in a nutshell. They, come and ask me and said, "We need some business experience on the board, right? And somebody that's run business, because the other council members have, individual do their things."
Yeah.
And so I've been in business for myself since I was 23, maybe.
I was going to ask that. So I know business
Holiday.
owner right now, of course, but I didn't know how far back that
Yeah, I
was.
was 23 when I bought the auto parts.
Yeah.
So anyway, had some folks in town saying, "Hey, why don't you do the town council? You've been a county commissioner before. You served in a political body." I said, "Yeah, and I don't, I don't want to jump back in the hot box, but I mean, what are you going to do when somebody asks you to serve, right?" So that's kind of my reason for it.
When were you on the commissioner board?
2006 to 2010.
How was that personally?
When you did the right thing, well, you always go with the purpose of doing the right thing. But when things worked out right, you would go home and say, "That's why I ran, right?
Mm-hmm.
Try to do the right thing to help this situation or that group, or try to make things good for the community, right?" And so, but man, it'd blow up sometimes too, and you're just like, "Oh my gosh, why did I stick my head in this hornet's nest?"
Yeah.
That was a little rough, but we survived.
Was that back in the time, were they 5-member then, or was it 3?
It's a 3 board. And then after 2010, maybe the next election, they voted to put 5. I think that's too many, really, because it got too many moving parts there.
A lot of talking heads.
Yes,
Yeah.
and a lot of posturing, which I understand, right? I know that Union County and Blairsville's had one for years and years, and the county functions really well. And I know they've got one county commissioner, and then they have several pods, several groups to handle different
So
issues.
It's a different system.
It's a little different setup, yeah.
I'd like to.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I'd like to look
but
into that.
they a lot of people, and so they put it on the ballot, I think. I believe that's right. It's been 20 years ago,
Yeah.
roughly. And it passed from 3 to 5, and to each his own. I was good with the 3. I thought that was plenty, So anyway, but 5, here you go,
Well, I hate to say it, but I think town council has more.
Yeah, they got 6,
Yeah.
and the mayor's the tiebreaker, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's fine. If that's what people want, that's fine.
What is the most difficult part of running a business when you look at it as far as what the commissioners have involvement in and the town council?
Say that again, because that's a loaded question.
Yeah. What's the hardest thing about running a business in the town?
Well, different times require different ways of doing things, right? So the county and the town both can set ordinances, right, against this or for this or whatever. And so you just adapt, right? I mean, you just adapt to what, and you see why they passed it, right? Whether you agree with it or not, you see their reasoning for passing this ordinance or that ordinance.
Yeah.
So you just adjust around it. But the hardest thing was during COVID. It was really, of course, we were, what was the term they used? We were necessary, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we were open and finding them, employees.
Essential.
We were essential. You're right. And gathering employees, because, people come and go and they've got different, things they want to do, right?
Oh, yeah.
So retaining employees was one thing that was really challenging, and to the point of frustration. I mean, you just about had to do it yourself, but at some point in time, you can't work day and night, right? You got to have just a little break. So that was really challenging. But the day-to-day operations, you're trying to keep costs down, right? A leak starts in the dam over here, and you go over and plug that up. And a leak starts over here, and you reach and try to plug that up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not much difference than running a household that you want to, you got to watch P's and Q's.
Yeah.
So that, other than that, it's just day to day, and if you've heard it say before, sometimes you just got to do it yourself, right?
Yeah.
And so your work's never done. Job security, but your work's never done. So
I'm sure that
there's always something more you can do, is what I'm saying, so.
All right, so number 2. So number 1, why would you run? And you just felt you were asked as a member of the community, and that's admirable.
Been here my whole
sure.
life, right?
Yeah.
So
number 2 is, and we talked about this previously at the meeting at the library, but I'm going to bring it up again just so people know. Is there anything day one for you that you would like to tackle?
Not really. I like to get in there and sit back and observe here just for a second or two and see what and why. Where what's this about? Where's that take us? What's the long-term ramifications for it? Just sit back and see, rather than, I don't want to run in there and stick my finger in the light socket. Right?
No, I understand.
Do something crazy.
I understand.
So,
I just, as a voter, I would like to know where the candidates stand. If they had a platform that they were running on, then I think it's healthy to know that.
sure, public safety, right? Community safety, family friendly, right? And business friendly. We want people to be able to conduct business, because that pays the bills, right? That's what people, that's how taxes are paid. That's how growth happens.
Yeah.
For the, it's nice to see Murphy prosper. Could it prosper more? Don't know. We're going to, we'll find out. We'll just keep grinding, right? And if the board has an opportunity to be business friendly, to generate more revenue, I'm sure they would, right? Because that's what we're here for. We can't not meet the essentials that people need, right, to flourish. Because if not, we dry up. So
Yeah.
That's kind of my take on the deal, right? It's it's not that complicated, right? We got to do what's right. You want to foster for the for the property owner.
Mm-hmm.
You want the tourists to feel welcome. You want them to spend dollars, local dollars, right? You want safety crossing the streets, or at night if you're walking on the street. You don't want to having to be look around your shoulder. Which
we do PSAs all the time, so we tell them to slow down. We tell them to stop littering.
Yeah.
Mind the crosswalks. They're there for a
right.
reason.
That's right. the things that the town is doing is good, right? I mean, and the groups that the ones that have done the river walk and you know helping beautify or make things nice for people to want to hang out, right? I mean, we want to, if they want to come and ride bikes, there's places for them to do that. If they want to access the water, there's places to do that. I'd like to, for the TVA to, assist,
Right.
Because they've got a culture a lot of times of, we can't touch that, can't touch that. We'd like to, can't touch that, right? And I get that, I get that. That's how they preserve things, right? But at some point, when the need or the the want of the people is to access, then how can we meet in the middle on that and make it happen?
Okay.
That's just one, for instance,
I love the river walk.
Yeah, no, it's great.
It's great.
I mean, you see families, you see people riding bikes, you see individuals running. I mean, that's fostering a good atmosphere, and that's essentially what we're after, I would think, right?
Yeah. Not trying to get negative, just trying to learn a little bit about you as a business owner, as a homeowner, as a citizen. Can you point to anything in the past, maybe the town council has passed, that you disagreed with?
Not anything that has affected me, to the point where, no.
Yeah.
No. Because, you take things in stride, and you, like I say, you take what's dealt. I mean, there's no injustice or anything that I've ever encountered that would be, restrictive or, you just.
Yeah, not necessarily restrictive or unjustified. Maybe just decisions that puts the town on track for a future that maybe you didn't see.
Well, I don't think that there's anything done that can't be
Undone.
Well, undone or rerouted, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because so there have been issues, right? So there was one that was passed 3 years ago that no hunting inside the city limits, no shooting a bow.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, and they'd had an issue, and
Where would you go to? Where would you do? Where would you hunt?
Towards the edge of the city limits. Let's
Okay.
put it that way.
I don't know the city limits that
Okay.
well, obviously.
Well, you about to find some, but anyway. So then they revisited, because there's people that so you couldn't use a gun, which I understand because of the distance, and proximity of the
Line of sight and all
Yeah,
that.
that's right. And you couldn't shoot a bow. Well, there's people
Okay.
that target practice with a bow that I know personally.
Yeah.
So, and you're generally, when you're target practicing with a bow, it's, short distance. You're shooting at a target. It's generally against a bank, within reason.
Yeah.
So they reworded that to allow homeowners on your own property. You can shoot a bow on your own property, and so that's what I say. There's always a way to redirect, right?
Yeah, I doubt
get
it
it.
was-
It's public safety. I get that, but
And I doubt that when they made that ordinance or law that there was any malice in
Oh, right,
that.
right,
Maybe just
right.
an oversight.
right. So and so those things can be corrected. That's good. That's good government, right? That's good stuff when they do that. It protects all, right? Tries, except this one may have a alley they need to address, and so it was addressed, and I thought that was fine.
So I asked Cameron this, and you can be as romantic as you want, but Perfect Murphy, what does that look like to you?
In what sense? I mean,
I guess if you wanted to describe a perfect Murphy, then I think inherently have to have some things that maybe you dislike that you would
Yeah.
improve upon. And if you don't have anything,
yeah, I
that's
don't.
fine.
Not much. Not. You know, not really. I mean, it's pretty inviting, really. You
I
know?
agree.
I mean, I don't know if you did it, but your dad and I and your uncles and I, when we were growing up, we used to cruise town, right? On Friday and Saturday nights, and there wasn't social media, and everybody hung out on the streets, right? And we just riding up and downtown to see what was going on, right? And you'd see your friends and this, that, and the other, and by 10 or 11 o'clock, we had to be at the house, right? So town would clear out, and that, I mean, that was just a homey feeling that we had, and kids would come from other towns to do that because, they didn't really it wasn't a thing, right? So, I mean,
I remember watching it kind of out of the vehicle window. I never got to take part, but we, just going through town on a Friday or a Saturday night, going back home or going out to eat, and it would be just packed.
yeah,
It just
people standing around,
yeah.
bring lawn chairs out
all
and
over
sit
the
on the sidewalk
and just stand around and talk.
We had a good time. That and now I mean the streets are town's pretty active at night, right? On the weekends.
I think so, yeah. On the weekends especially.
Yeah, with the places to eat and the bars, and that's fine,
I think it has gotten better.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't, get out of hand or, and of course the police put a quietus to that. Yeah. But I like I say, I've been here, lived in the city limits 90% of my life. One time we lived out there where Walmart sits.
Okay.
My grandfather had a farm out there, and we moved out there before the 4-lane was built. And the DOT was, the road came, both east and west lane were coming through the house, right? So
really?
We lived out there for a few years, and then we moved back to town and been in town ever since, and so whether we used to ride our horses to town, we used to ride our bicycles to town. I remember a friend of mine lived on Valley River Avenue with me, and we'd go to the swimming pool, down at the Lions Club pool. We'd ride bikes to his dad's store, get a soda or whatever, turn around, ride back to the pool, see who was at the pool, ride back home. We, all day long. And you just wonder, there wasn't any social media. Mom would say, be in here before dark, right?
Mm-hmm. I didn't grow up in town. I grew up kind of right at the start of Hanging Dog, but
sure,
it was a different time, even for me. There's an age difference between you and I, but it was just a different time, and obviously we can't get into all of that. But
that's right.
Number 5 was, what do you believe Murphy's biggest strength is?
The landscape, the beauty of the community, right? I mean, look at it now. Here we are in, peak leaf season. Mm-hmm. I see it at my business. I mean, people are coming through, and people want to maybe take a break from the concrete jungles that they live in, or the and come and see. I mean, think about what we've got to offer. We've got 2 rivers right here, right? We got the Hiwassee and the Valley River.
Yes.
Meeting and all that. So we've got Hiwassee Lake. Then you've got, Chatoog. You've got Santitla. You've got Fontana.
Notley,
Parksville. Parksville Lake down here. I mean, if you want something to do outdoors, we're loaded.
Plenty of trails.
Plenty of trails. Whether I miss the ATV trails. The whole Tellico thing. I really miss that. But I mean, biking, hiking, canoeing. I mean, if you want something to do outside, we're loaded. And so those are the things we have to capitalize on, right, to make it more inviting. Now, not everybody wants to be in a canoe. I get that, but I mean, work with what you've got to develop, right? I mean, that's kind of the way I see it. Because you can't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah. Something came up in my mind while you and I were discussing that. Can the town, in your opinion, do they need to do more with the park?
Well, that's funded by the county, if I'm not mistaken. Best I
Okay.
remember, it's funded by the county,
Is
which,
it?
yeah, and I think the town contributes some to that. I know that Andrews does their park up there with the county. It's in cahoots, right? And I think Town of Murphy puts in money for our park here, even though it's a county park, right?
Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, I believe that's right. Best I remember. Been 20 years ago. So
Yeah.
anyway, but I know for a fact Andrews, they really, emphasized, and put an emphasis on their park. They had the pool up there. I don't think it's still open, but
No, it's been open.
is it okay?
Seasonally.
I hadn't remember. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying.
Okay.
In the summer, that was something that they valued, right?
Oh, yeah.
In their pool and their parks and their ball fields and stuff. And I remember they were trying to develop a walking trail and some exercise stations along the way, and there were grants for the state to help them, to assist them for that. So, and that, that's I mean, you could dump a load of money and everything, right? But your tax base, right? You can't spend more than you take in, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, there's certain things you got to do, and I'm sure the towns, everybody's limited on funds, right? I mean, per se limited. I mean, you got to keep enough in the checking account so the checks don't bounce. But if they, come up with a large
Lump sum.
then they've overtaxed, right? So it's got to let the people live.
Yeah.
So.
Well, on our show, one of the things that we generally do, I didn't warn you about this ahead of time.
Uh-oh.
It's not that bad.
It's not a singing duet or something, right?
No. Maybe next time. But
No.
we try to allow the guests to ask me a question. Just maybe keep things fair. If you need to take a second to think about it, you can. We can edit it out. We probably won't, but we could. But while you think about that, the voting day is November 4th.
Week from tomorrow.
Week from tomorrow. And that's going to be, next Tuesday. And there's not two options, there's two sites. And depending on your address is where you vote. It's at the
Do you know what the dividing line is?
I don't.
I don't either. I'll
Okay.
have to look. I've always voted at the library.
Yeah.
I guess I better look. Make
The
sure,
library
right?
is the one, and then Texana Community
Yeah.
Center is the other.
I think that's for the other side of.
Erica, where are you
I
voting?
don't know.
Texana.
Yeah.
Okay. Question?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. That's all right.
No, I'm good. No. Your family and I go a long way back.
Yeah.
Yeah, fond memories.
Fond
A
memories.
lot of fun. Golly,
Okay.
yeah.
Nothing illegal.
Nothing whatsoever. Mischief, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it,
Yeah.
and I'm glad that you're running.
Well, thank you.
It's
if I-
going to be a time sink, I'm sure, and
Yeah.
I hope that it'll
Maybe
be worth
not
it.
that bad, but I'm getting long. I'm getting long in the tooth. So, but I don't mind. If I can, help our community, that's fine. If not, if I wake up and I didn't get elected or that night, guess what I'm gonna do? Go back to work.
Back to work.
Go back to work. That's
Either
right.
way, you're going
Either
back to
way,
work.
I'm good. Yeah. Either way, I'm going back to work. Yeah. So, anyway.
Well, we'll know
Yeah,
the
late
4th.
late
the 4th.
late
Yeah.
Tuesday night. Yeah.
It's exciting times. I enjoy it.
And I hope the best for all of them. Right.
Well, that's what we were wanting
yeah.
to do here. We're ignoring the candidates that have been on the board, and that was simply based out of time allowed. So we just decided that we were going to attempt to
Interrogate.
intensely interrogate the new candidates. And we were blessed enough to speak with Cameron and you now, of course.
No worries.
And next Tuesday will be the big day, and hope everyone the best. But
Yeah, I do too. I hope everybody the best. Right. It won't affect me one way or the other. If I can help, I'll be glad to, and if not, I'll keep doing what I'm doing.